Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, the state's major events and festivals have been given a clearer picture on how they'll operate under COVID restrictions. The sector is growing more desperate by the day as promoters battle to lock in artists and dates.
If there's music or crowds, there's a good chance promoter Brendan Self is behind it. After months of cancellations, the event sector is desperate for help.
They're all suffering, and they're feeling forgotten, which is very disappointing, and they just want to get back to work. We're not looking for the handouts, we just want to get back to work.
Today, the state government finally put its rescue plan on the stage. A framework of 3 levels for gathering numbers, covering indoor, outdoor, seated and standing events. At the highest end of the scale,
events with multiple separate areas on one site or across multiple sites can have up to 10,000 people in total.
Clearing the way for the Launceston, Hobart and Devonport Cups, as well as the Sydney-Hobart Yacht Race.
And for crowd sizes to be of a significant size in terms of Big Bash cricket or other sports over the summer.
The plan is expected to come into effect from December. Organisers will need to apply. Also revealed today, Kiwi travellers from COVID-safe states will be able to skip quarantine when borders open on Monday. The Premier says he isn't nervous about lowering the drawbridge and has every confidence in public health.
Their advice, while seen by some at times to be conservative, has been spot on.
The move will ease a strain on police resources, with fewer people in hotel quarantine and home isolation.
Also, in terms of the level of compliance checking that's needed for people in home isolation, that should reduce.
Meanwhile, the state of emergency will officially come to an end next week, but the public health emergency will continue. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
Meanwhile, there are concerns complacency is creeping in, with venues saying Tasmanians need to take responsibility to keep the state COVID-free. With borders reopening on Monday, Public Health has handed down a stern reminder to follow the rules.
Sitting down for a simple meal out. For parts of 2020, this was considered a luxury. Now hospitality businesses are working behind the scenes to keep their venues COVID safe.
It's been a big struggle. It's been a lot of hard work, especially getting the information required by the government and following that information and putting on board in our safety COVID protocols.
The state has now been closed off from the mainland for around 7 months, and as we prepare to open back up, there are concerns Tasmanians have become too relaxed.
It's understandable, but we're in a time where people actually have to sort of think, take a step back. What do I need to do? How do I need to act to reduce the risk of me catching COVID or spreading it?
If you forget about the virus, know that the virus hasn't forgotten about you.
While venues are excited by the prospect of tourists, there are frustrations around lingering restrictions.
We can manage people while they're staying and drinking. We can still say, please move apart. That's just the one restriction that really upsets us as an industry.
We will look at vertical drinking, standing drinking over the coming weeks.
Dancing is also being considered, but Public Health is worried some venues are no longer recording diners' details.
Not all venues are doing it regularly. It should be really part of their COVID safety plan for their premises.
Now, I'm not sure if you've seen it, but I've been into some places where Batman and Robin apparently attended. They put their phone number down there and people think it's a bit of funny. Now, I understand the funny side of it, but it's really serious.
A Tasmanian company hopes its new booking app, Book Eat Safe, will be the answer to that. And the Salamanca Inn has already jumped on board.
Then when you arrive, you just show your QR code and then straight away they scan it and that's it. You're here. You're COVID compliant.
With the borders opening on Monday, this app is very timely around being able to contact trace not only local people but the tourists that are coming in as well.
Because when the borders reopen,
it's a whole different ballgame.
Next Sides, 7 Tasmania News.
Local authorities have issued a warning to revellers ahead of tomorrow's AFL Grand Final. Extra patrols will be carried out across the state for what is the busiest day of the year for Tasmania Police.
decking out venues in team colours, preparing for one of the biggest events on the sporting calendar.
A good atmosphere in here, so I think we've got mainly regulars coming, so it should be a really good night.
It won't be quite the same this year, with COVID restrictions limiting patron numbers.
Everyone signs in. We have a limited number of cards that we give out per night, so that helps us count people in and count people out as well. We're nearly fully booked out, so looking forward to it.
Husband and wife duo Kai and Lucy Widditch will both be working tomorrow, keeping Tasmanians safe.
The grand final week typically brings a whole increase in work for us. We're moving our resources around throughout the night to ensure that we've got the best paramedic coverage for Tasmania.
We can see alcohol-related injuries, so just, sort of trip and falls, broken limbs, lacerations, even just feeling a bit unwell from drinking a little bit too much.
Police say extra officers will be on patrol to make sure revellers are doing the right thing.
AFL Grand Final Day is traditionally the busiest day on our calendar. As a consequence of that, look, clearly we have a higher level of police response. There will be targeted random breath testing, yes, and that goes across both drug-related offences and also alcohol-related offences.
And for those thinking of hosting grand final parties at home,
the limit remains at 20 people plus the people from the household, so we'd ask that people respect that.
Letitia Wallace, 7 Tasmanian News.
A burst water main left dozens of businesses and homes in the Launceston CBD and Invermay without water today. Crews worked to replace the burst section of pipe on the corner of Patterson and Wellington Streets for most of the day. Taswater says customers may notice their water is cloudy or dirty and are urged to run the outside tap closest to the water meter until it runs clear again. Water was restored to all affected properties by 4 p.m. Work has begun to improve the health of the Tamar estuary and make Launceston's waterways cleaner. Crews are upgrading the Willis Street pump station's ageing stormwater system to reduce overflows. The work is part of the $140 million River Health Action Plan, which is a commitment of the Launceston City deal. Well, the first ball won't be bounced until tomorrow night, but the celebrations for AFL Grand Final weekend in Tassie have kicked off already. South Launceston Football Club held its annual Grand Final luncheon with attendees entertained by former AFL players.
Football royalty descending on South Launceston's Grand Final luncheon.
And we're up here to try and entertain the crowd that's going to be here, and we're going to have a great time.
The fundraiser setting the mood for a huge weekend of footy.
Community clubs do thrive on that, connection to their people, and it's been really nice for me to be able to go and do those sorts of things.
Given the club didn't play in 2020's modified NTFA competition, today also marked the start of 2021.
It certainly gives our following year a bit of a kick along, and it's really all about getting together and networking and catching up with people that we haven't seen for a long time.
The event, supported by the club's sponsors who donated auction items.
They still put their hand up and they still support events like this, and it's a credit to them, and we value their contribution immensely. And that's what football clubs and the community is all about, is we all stick together in hard times and push through, and we'll come out the other end better.
The guests of honour split on their picks for the game of the year.
Well, I'm picking Geelong. I've picked Geelong all year.
Yeah, Tigers get it done.
The Dogs, today's big winner though. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
All things weird and wacky in the sci-fi world will be celebrated this summer. QV Mag in Launceston will host the special event from November to January.
About the difference between science fiction and science fact. So, of course, museums are all about science and facts and things you can put your finger on. And science fiction, maybe not. And so that's what we're going to be exploring. So we're going to be showing a sci-fi film once a month.
The Summer of Sci-Fi program will also include space talks with astronomers and a themed cosplay day early next year.
Well, a top-of-the-table clash headlines the final week of the NPL season. Champion Devonport locked up the title last week, but the second-place Glenorchy Knights are looking to spoil the Strikers' unbeaten record.
We need to make sure that when we do create some chances that we take them. They've been very strong defensively this season. And chances may be hard to come by, and if we have quality in the right moments, I think that'll lead towards towards a positive result.
Glenorchy has been the highest scoring team in the league this season, but Devonport has the competition's tightest defence. And this week marks 20 years since two Tasmanians competed in the Sydney 2000 Paralympic Games. Launceston athlete Clayton Johnson's run was hampered by injury, but Hobart swimmer Melissa Carlton came home with an amazing 4 medals. It was hammer time 20 years ago for Hobart's Melissa Carlton. She would have home crowd support in the marquee women's 100 metres freestyle.
The Australians were away okay, Carlton and Lay.
Carlton had won silver in the butterfly and she looks strong in her pet event.
Melissa Carlton starting to come through strongly now as they come up to the 50-metre turn, and Carlton might lead them through for Australia. Into the wall they go, and Carlton goes through in 32.65.
The Tasmanian would fight with the Canadian Stephanie Dixon at world record pace.
It's so close to the wall they go. The goal goes to Dixon. Dixon has just beaten Melissa Carlton. What a race. What an incredible race. 0.15 of a second separated.
Dixon's time would break the world record, while Carlton would claim a second silver before going on to win 2 bronze medals. She came home to Hobart with 4 medals in tow.
Getting crowds of up to 17,000 people in a night, and when they announce the Australians, it does give you a huge buzz and actually lifts up the adrenaline, and you do feel like you really want to perform for all of those people.
Also at the Games,
the second semi-final, men's 100 metres cerebral palsy class T36, Australia represented by Johnson in 2.
Launceston's Clayton Johnson had some bad luck on the big stage, re-injuring his hamstring in the 100 metres. He was only a teenager at the time, but he already held multiple Australian records and also competed in the shot put at the Games. He returned home with fond memories.
The crowds were great, the atmosphere was tremendous.
And some classic memorabilia too.
Good evening. Campania and Orford our high today with 19, Launceston Burnie and Devonport 14, well officially anyway. Flinders Island, Grove and Bushy Park all reached 18 degrees, Strahan and Friendly Beaches 16, King Island, Smithton and St Helens 15, Lowhead 13, 11 at Lyawini. A band of middle level cloud extended across the state today, sitting above another layer. Best rainfall to 3 p.m. was 7 millimetres at Wynyard. Cloud with low pressure troughs extend from the Territory across Queensland and over the southeast of the nation. Cloud wraps around a low over southern WA and a bit to our west with a cold front. Tomorrow the low crosses over New South Wales and the front lands over us. Troughs linger over the mainland. Winds west-southwest at 15 to 25 knots, but tending southerly over the east firstly, and then all winds will swing around to be from the south at 25 to 30 knots. Strong wind warning from Sandy Cape to Low Rocky Point. Hobart, Saturday, a shower or 2 and 15. 12 for Maydena, early shower for Oatlands and a top of 12 as well. Pretty cool temperatures around the place. An early shower for Launceston, 18 degrees, 16 for Devonport, a late shower for Lyawini, chance of snow as well. 15 the high for Burnie and partly cloudy. Showers developing for Strahan, 13 and just 13 for Marrawar. And in the east tomorrow, St Helens, showery, 15, 16 for Swansea, early shower for Orford as well and 16 the top. On Sunday, fine but partly cloudy, maybe a shower over the southeast. Light showers over the east and northeast on Monday, otherwise fine but cool. And on Tuesday, the soggy east coast may find another shower or 2. Mostly sunny in Perth. Cloudy and 17 in Adelaide, rain easing from Melbourne, showers and a possible storm for Sydney. And for Brisbane, an 80% chance of showers, around 5 millimetres, a top of 27, the chance of a thunderstorm from late morning. That's the grand final forecast, which will amend to 28 degrees in Brisbane tomorrow. Cloudy here though, 13 in Hobart, Launceston the same, cloudy in Devonport and 13. Kim, there's an old saying, happy wife, happy life. If Richmond win the grand final tomorrow night, I'll have a happy wife and hence I'll have a happy life. So even though my team isn't in the grand final, my life depends on it.
I'm sure Donna's not that harsh and there'll be other reasons that she may not want you around, but anyway, good luck Merv, good luck Donna.